Are you verbally expressive? Do you love stories and storytellers? Do you sometimes need a sounding board to figure out what you're thinking? You might be someone who uses communication talents to navigate your world. Well, what happens when your romantic partner is someone who is a logical, data-driven person who enjoys boiling matters down to their essence? These two can be a powerful combination, and there might be some rough edges to smooth out. That's what we'll be exploring today on Dating Dynamics, Communication Meets Analytical. Stay tuned. Hi there, I'm Tanya Finks, and I'm a Gallup certified strengths coach. I help people and partners live, love, and work with greater clarity, intention, and alignment with purpose. My top 5 talent themes are relator, futuristic, intellection, achiever, and strategic. Here on Dating Dynamics, we take a look at 2 Clifton strengths and how they might interact in a romantic partnership. If you haven't taken the Clifton Strengths Assessment, you'll want to check out my video about why you should. If you've taken the assessment and the results weren't all that meaningful to you, then I'd suggest you watch So You've Taken the Clifton Strengths Assessment, Now What? I'll link to each of those in the description area below. Before we explore Communication Meets Analytical, I'd like to clarify that while I am certified by Gallup, I am not employed by, affiliated with, or sponsored by Gallup. The non-Gallup information contained in this video has not been approved and is not sanctioned or endorsed by Gallup in any way. Opinions, views, and interpretations of Clifton Strengths Assessment results are solely my opinions based on my experience coaching strengths, as well as my background in personal development. Now, with the disclaimers out of the way, let's jump into today's dynamic, Communication Meets Analytical. People especially talented in the communication theme generally find it easy to put their thoughts into words. They are good conversationalists and presenters. People especially talented in the analytical theme search for reasons and causes. They have the ability to think about all the factors that might affect a situation. Those are the short descriptions of communication and analytical taken from Gallup's technical definition of each of these talent themes. A talent theme, like the communication theme or the analytical theme, is a collection or concentration of natural talents with something in common, like communication or analytical ability. As we begin to compare these 2 themes, it's important to note that none of us are using one collection of talents to navigate the world. Instead, we are a combination or interaction between a number of dominant talents. So it's somewhat artificial to talk about talent themes in isolation. As you get to know your own talent themes, you broaden your depth of understanding and awareness of your own motivations and drives and how they interact with each other. For our purposes, though, it's more illustrative to talk about each theme in isolation. In each case, the statements might be more or less accurate based on your other dominant themes. Communication is an influencing theme. Analytical is a strategic thinking theme. Each of the 34 talent themes are sorted into one of 4 domains. The executing domain speaks to how we're driven to get things done. The influencing domain speaks to how we impact others' thoughts, feelings, and actions. The relationship building domain speaks to how we build relationships. And the strategic thinking domain speaks to how we process information. However, considering that each of us gets things done, influences people, builds relationships, and processes information, the talent themes don't tell us what we do, they speak to how we do them. Someone high in the communication theme tends to process information verbally. They literally think by talking. They may need to talk something through in order to even understand what they think about it. What they may need from their partner might be for them to act as a sounding board. They may not be seeking input or feedback. They simply need their partner there so they can get their thoughts out and get to clarity. Someone high in the analytical theme processes information by breaking things down to their essence. In communication, they might ask questions that help them find reasons and causes. In communication, they might need time to think and process before they're ready to talk about what they think. Someone high in the communication theme might connect with others through words. They can bring attention to messages that must be heard. And they might be frustrated by having experiences without having an opportunity to tell someone about them. Someone high in the analytical theme might influence others by bringing dispassionate thinking to emotional issues. They are logical and objective in their approach, and they're able to find simplicity in the midst of complexity. Where someone high in communication is attempting to process verbally, they might experience analytical's probing questions as interrogation. For example, if communication is looking for a sounding board to figure out what they think or feel about something, communication might feel pressure to know what they think before they've talked it out and figured out what they think. Now, analytical is simply attempting to process what they're hearing, but you can see how this can go terribly awry very quickly. As someone high in communication, you might set your analytical partner up for success by letting them know how you want them to listen. If you're just looking for a sounding board, you might say that up front. And if analytical does ask questions, remember that they're simply attempting to make sense of what they're hearing, which for them includes data and facts and understanding the essence. As someone high in analytical, you might find listening in this way a little challenging. One way you can contribute to communication is by helping them get it out. Particularly useful questions might include, what else about that? Anything else? If you're fighting an urge to analyze, ask permission. Would you like some input? Can I ask a clarifying question? It has to be okay for the answer to be no, but sometimes asking permission creates a safe space for a different way of engaging. Socially, someone high in communication might find it easy to connect with others through conversation. Depending on analytical's other dominant themes, they might be less fluid in social settings. For communication, it's important to recognize that analytical will connect in their own ways. And for analytical, it is important to remember that communication is energized by connecting with others through words. Finally, as someone high in analytical, it's important to remember that communication may not be as fascinated with data and facts. They're more captivated by the story and the data rather than the data itself. While seeing the proof might be primary for you, being engaged by the storyteller might be primary to communication. Recognizing and appreciating each other's talents and accepting your differences will be key to ongoing compatibility. So how can you be leveraging each other's natural talents? In supporting each other's professional pursuits, communication, you're gifted in persuading others toward your view. I work with someone high in communication, and she's convinced she can persuade anyone toward her point of view. Give me enough time, I'll get you there, she's fond of saying. Analytical can help you navigate a complex landscape and get to the essence, make connections, and identify causes and reasons. Analytical, while you can help communication get to the heart of the matter, how they choose to address it will likely be a function of their dominant themes, which are likely different from yours. You'll want to allow space for them to leverage your insights in their own unique ways. Analytical, your ability to find simplicity in the midst of complexity helps you and your team focus on important detail. This past summer, I had the opportunity to manage a summer intern who was high in analytical. It was fascinating to observe the way she processes information, and her ability to very quickly make sense of complex information allowed her to enter a very nuanced environment and find a way forward without a lot of guidance. Driven by logic and data, your perspective can be compelling. Communication can help you tell your story in a way that not only convinces, but engages and inspires. Again, communication, analytical will craft their story in a way that is consistent with their dominant themes, but your ability to see the story can help analytical direct their focus. In making important decisions together, analytical, you might let yourself be inspired by communication. Communication, you might allow analytical sufficient time to ensure you've both thought through the important details. And finally, analytical, you might allow communication to keep you from suffering analysis paralysis by keeping focused on the big picture and encouraging you to move forward when it's appropriate to proceed. So that's our exploration for today. Are you someone high in communication with a romantic partner high in analytical? Or are you high in analytical with a romantic partner high in communication? I would love to hear how you appreciate each other's differences and leverage each other's strengths. Please leave a comment below and let us know. Next week, we'll be exploring analytical meets strategic. So be sure to subscribe so you're notified of the release. I'd love to hear what romantic combinations you would like to see. Be sure to leave a comment below to register your choice. I've linked to several resources below to help you continue to navigate your strengths journey. If you're just starting down that road, I would invite you to take advantage of my free email course, Top 5 in 5, Unlocking the Power of Your Top 5 Strengths in 5 Short Days. You'll also find that link below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and check back next week to watch Analytical Meets Strategic. Thanks so much for tuning in. Until next week, enjoy the journey.